Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about why it's important to listen to young people and children and why their voice should be heard and why it's important to listen to them. Some children and young people are experiencing certain things, or they've been through certain things, or they're being triggered because of certain memories or emotions that they remember, or that they're currently feeling, and that could be because of sexual abuse, or domestic abuse, bullying, any event that's taken place that they may have not liked and is triggering them in any way or impacting their mental health. It could also be parental conflict, sexuality, so many things that they could be challenging inside. And I would just like us all to help create a space where children feel, or young people feel, that they can speak up about how they're feeling and be honest about their emotions and have a conversation with who they love and who they care about and whom that means something to them, or who they feel that is important to them, and to allow them to say what they feel in terms of not necessarily be rude, but if they're experiencing something, then to create an approachable space. When I say approachable space, meaning allow them to approach you without feeling attacked or scared or afraid or unable to approach you with certain things due to your beliefs, or maybe the certain personality traits that you have. I'm not saying that you can't necessarily tell your child off, but sometimes young people and children are going through things that is currently bothering them now at this moment. And it doesn't necessarily mean to say that it happened this week or today or last week or even this year. It could be something that happened years and years ago, and they've suppressed it for such a long time and kept it to themselves, and inside it's burning them, and they want to express it and they want to tell someone, especially someone that knows them to a certain degree. And the way to help them is to think twice about when you was a child and when you wanted to tell someone something that you was going through, and how you felt when you may not have been able to tell that person because you thought they might shout or get aggressive, or not be approachable because they won't understand, or they refuse to listen, or they don't care. I'm not saying everybody is like this, but sometimes we're so caught up in our own things and issues or emotions that we can fail to see or hear what a child or a young person is trying to say. Because if someone has been through sexual abuse, that might have happened when they were 4, 5, 8, 7, 12 or 15, any kind of age, and you may be very unaware that that's happened, and that might be why they are not speaking as much as they used to, or their personality might have changed, or they might have started self-harming or having suicidal thoughts, or some form of change within their personality or their thought process. And by creating a space where they can approach you, it could be that you're the person that they've got a problem with, and it's a very toxic relationship as a parent or a carer or someone that's important to them, or just someone that they know. And by you not enabling them to speak up and shutting them down, because sometimes we say to children, well, you're a child, I'm the adult, and I don't want to hear what you've got to say right now, or I'm not in the mood. Sometimes that child is trying, or the young person is trying to tell you something, and they're focusing so much on your emotion or how you're going to react that they're putting themselves second, and it's about putting themselves first and also yourself first. But at the same time, children and young people need us, and they need to be able to approach us, and they need to be able to have somewhere where they can approach their parent or carer or someone that they know that is close to them, or just, you know, an adult that is an appropriate adult to speak to and share what's going on with them. Because sometimes that's why young people or children start to experience low mood, and that can then lead to self-harming, suicidal thoughts, feeling not good enough, feeling like there's no purpose, there's no need for their existence, feeling unworthy and unwanted, and where they come to a point where they feel like they have no one mentally or physically. It's about encouraging a safe environment for that child or young person to be able to express themselves. Not necessarily that you're going to agree with what they're saying, but whether your relationship is healthy and pure to some extent. And even if it is, and that young person still doesn't open up, it's just about letting that young person or child know that I'm not sure what it is that you're going through. I'm not sure what it is that you may have been through, or if you're currently going through something, but these are the services that you could go to if you don't feel comfortable going to me. Or, you know, please write it down and express it until you feel ready, and just know that I'm here for you, and I'm not here to judge, and I'm here to listen and be there for them and listen. Because sometimes a child is trying to tell you, mom or dad or whoever it is, the way you are with me is making me anxious, and I'm having panic attacks, and then that then leads me to feeling like I'm not good enough, or that then leads me to feel like I'm unwanted, or the fact that you and my mum split up, or the fact that you and my dad split up is bothering me, even though it was 5 years ago, it's still bothering me. Or it could be that they've been diagnosed with depression. Like, they might want to talk to you about, they might not want to take medication, or it could be that since then I'm getting bullied at school, or since then this has happened, or like I said, they could have been sexually abused and haven't ever told anyone and been carrying that for 10 years or however many years. And it's just about encouraging young people to speak up and allowing them to have a conversation with you, whether it is that you both agree or disagree or not, but just letting them speak about how they're feeling and encouraging them to feel like it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to have a moment, and it's okay to feel low at times. And if you have been through something yourself, try to understand and relate, or try to think of when you was a child and you wanted to tell that teacher that you may have been in a domestic abusive household or something like that, and how it was impacting your education, or the way you was speaking, or the way you was interacting, or how it brought on certain triggers for you, or the way someone's aura is. All of these things can play a part in how you make someone feel. So it's very important that we take the time to listen and to not respond to someone just because they're talking, but try to respond because we're trying to understand. And it doesn't mean to say that you're going to understand to the full capacity of what that person's feeling, but it's allowing individuals to go through their own process of whatever it is, whether it's grieving, bullying, sexual abuse, self-harm, stuff like that. It's just about trying to be calm and collective and allowing them to feel safe and not like they're doing something wrong and that you're having a go at them. Or I'm not saying you can't have a go at your child or the young person if they are doing something that's out of line, and it's a certain rule that you have, but at the same time, it's about having that conversation in a certain way. So if a child irritated you or did something and you are the parent and they're not listening, think about, okay, has my child changed? Why are they not really responding? Why does it feel like they're not present? What is it? Is it something that's going on? How can I maybe not add to what it is that they could possibly go through? And if they can't talk to me, is there someone else that maybe that person can talk to? And instead of me saying, well, I'm the child and you're the parent, sometimes try to listen to what they're saying, because it could be how your relationship is with them is impacting on what else has already happened or what is currently going on and where they could potentially be going. And we can save a lot of lives if we just listen and remember that children and young people's voices are just as important as ours. We all got given a voice for a reason, and sometimes children and young people are more aware than you think they are and have gone through certain things like depression or going through depression or panic attacks or stress, anxiety or whatever it is. And it doesn't mean to say because of their age or the fact that they're a child or a young person doesn't mean that they don't experience these things, or to say to them, well, what is it you've got to be stressed about? Because sometimes they have. Sometimes, like I said, they're in a gang or something's going on, peer pressure. There's so many factors. There's sexuality that they might have thought about in terms of, you know, what they want to be when they're older, or not necessarily, sorry, I got that wrong, not what they want to be when they're older, but they might be discovering who they are and who they feel to be, and the fact that, you know, they might not be who you want them to be, and that can cause a barrier between you and them, whatever it is that you are to them. Sometimes you're not going to find that out straight away because they feel uncomfortable to say that, and that can be also causing a lot of suicidal thoughts or self-harm or not feeling good enough or not feeling pure and whole as themselves. And the minute a child or a young person feels whole and is able to feel free and authentic, that is when a child will open up to some extent. And it's just about, literally, like I said, listening and remembering when you was a child and how you may have felt if you wanted to tell your parent or someone something, and how you may have thought twice because you thought they might be aggressive or they might be rude or they not understand or they're going to shut you down. Try to remember that that child could be telling you something very important and could have taken a lot of strength and courage to share whatever it is. And it's about allowing them not to feel ashamed and, you know, scared, or like being vulnerable is a problem. Like, it's okay to feel like that. And I'm just making this video because I'm trying to encourage all the adults or anyone that works with children or young people or parents or carers, whoever it is, whatever you do with children or young people, I want you to be able to listen to them and support them and try to understand them. You will never understand to the full extent of what someone is feeling, not even your friends to some extent, but it's just about allowing that space for them to feel vulnerable. And even if they do have that space and you've provided it, it's about continuously encouraging that emotional stability and security, because you may be physically there for a child or a young person, but it doesn't necessarily mean to say that the relationship is healthy 100%, or how can I put it, in the sense where if you're not there emotionally for that child and they don't feel emotionally safe or secure by you, that can limit how much that person opens up or how much that they trust you. Just because you're physically there doesn't mean that they feel that you're there. And sometimes they can feel so mentally alone. It doesn't matter how many people are in the room. It doesn't matter that you're constantly providing gifts or whatever it is that you're doing. Sometimes it's just not enough. And it's about taking each moment as it comes and not putting your own beliefs on the child. Sometimes it's about listening to how they feel and how they want to be at some point of their life, or why they feel like that and where does it come from, and allow them the space to just be true to themselves and to be true to you as well about who they are and what they're feeling, because it takes a lot of guts to express something like what I've said already, which is, you know, sexual abuse or bullying, cyberbullying. It could be gangs. It could be so many different things that this child or young person needs to tell you and wants to feel safe and open to tell you. But I'll leave it there, and I hope this video helps, and together we can make change if we just listen and sometimes it's not always about giving advice, it's about listening. And a wise person once said to me, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So that's why it's important to listen. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And I hope this video has helped.